Hello everybody, hope today's going good for you. It is another beautiful sunny Saturday in Nenana. Have to get a little fuel and head out to the farm. This week it's going to be tilling a little bit of ground and getting some potatoes in and more land clearing. It's always great to get the crops in the ground and watch them grow throughout the summer, anticipating what they may bring. But even as they're growing, we're looking towards next year, the next crop, the next planting season. We're looking forward to getting as much ground cleared before freeze up this winter. And we'll be able to do a fair bit of clearing even after it's frozen until the snow shuts us down. And after that first blanket of light snow, it'll be a great time to burn those piles and get rid of all those logs so we'll have nice open fields in the spring. Not every day is as pretty and sunny as today, but most days are like this in Nenana. We're far enough away from the ocean that its effects don't cool us in the summer, so we stay nice and warm. On the other side, in the winter, we don't get any warming effect from the ocean either, and it's nice and cold, all part of the interior in Alaska. Let's got to the farm. There was some ruts in the road, and the tongue jack did not make it. I need to put some potatoes in. A little late, but it's okay. Slight breeze today. I think it's like 71, 72. Nice to see green growing in the field. Again, I cannot emphasize enough, it's just a test plot and cover crop. No intention of harvesting it. Just see how it grows, how it does. Obviously way too many sticks to do much of anything with it. A little more. There you go. Got a few clouds moving in. Don't know if any thunderstorms are going to develop out of it. Maybe. Keep it posted. It's a little dry, but it's definitely not horrible. We had all that rain about a week and a half ago, which was very nice to have. Happy to get some more rain. Rain and sun. That's what makes things grow. A little bit breezy this morning. Headed out to the farm. Got co-pilot today. What you think, Dusty? Yeah, it's a little early yet. That's okay. Looks like a few high clouds. We'll see if they stick with us or burn off. Either way, it'll be good. Remember, boys and girls out there in YouTube land, make sure you always stop for the railroad tracks. Giving the skid steer a bath. It's always nice to clean them up occasionally and little corn plants. Dave's up washing. Dusty's sleeping in the cab of the truck. You can really see the oats. Okay, I'm running the digger, or the chisel plow it's called, to turn up some ground to plant the potatoes in. Dave's in the background with the mulcher, cleaning up some land that he'd picked the logs up and stacked them, so he's just getting the last of the brush and anything that was growing where the logs were. When it comes to these small tractors, I chose a chisel plow over a disc, mainly because a 3-point disc generally does not have a lot of weight, and so they don't penetrate very well or do a very good job. The chisel plow gets as deep as you want it to go, acts as a root rake as well, which in this case is very important to get those roots out of the way, and it turns the soil over really good. I've been pretty impressed with how well it's worked so far. The size of equipment is important to get a job done, but you can also just slow down a little and take a little more time. A smaller piece of equipment does a good job and can get a lot of work done. It just takes you a little longer. Now I'm down in the very bottom of the field, turning some ground up there. It ended up being a little bit too wet. I thought it would dry out over a couple days, but the higher ground proved to be enough to plant the potatoes we had in, so I didn't have to plant anything down in the lower part. Even after a month, we're still finding places where the frost under especially overburden, grass, or duff is still frozen down there and still melting. This area will be entirely different next year, as it will have a chance to warm up faster and dry out sooner than it did this year. That's why it's really important not to be in too big a hurry when you clear new ground, because you have no idea what it's going to be like after it settles for a year or two. It'll be very interesting to look back on this video when we're doing work next year and see what it was like to work the year before when the land was newly cleared. Have to adjust the quick hitch top link for one implement. That's for the tiller. Not too big a deal to do. In theory, you're just doing it once or twice a year, so. Bad on the field. You get over here in the brush and the mosquitoes are pretty good. Clouds are setting in. Still they're high clouds, so I don't think we're gonna get any rain out of it. Although a little bit would be nice. Yeah, that adjustable top link is pretty nice. Okay, and so what we want to do now is we want to make a little more divot in the furrow in the hill so we can have somewhere to put the potatoes. So set this down a little bit. Take a few more adjustments. Why the crescent wrenches stay in the tractor. We'll try it out. Okay, gonna put some potatoes in. It's a little late, but I had some potatoes that need to be planted. So spent a little time this morning working this ground up. This is not ideal by any means, but make some rows. We'll put some potatoes in, give them a little fertilizer, and see what they do this summer. Just hate to see the potatoes go to waste, and it's a good idea to try it, see what happens. So we'll see what happens. And I know there's all kinds of sticks in this. Roots, most of the big ones are out. When it comes time to dig them, it won't be the funnest thing for sure. They probably aren't going to grow the best or the most perfect potatoes. But we'll see how they grow this summer. Let's find out. This dirt sure is nice. One of the best parts about this land is there's no rocks. None. And the roots will rot and go away. If you can see the little bird in the middle, it's amazing how excited they get when you turn up fresh ground to come in and look for bugs and worms, whatever it is that they're looking for. Always amazes me. One of the things about farming is you just got to try it. We know there's things that work for sure. That's a good thing. It's nice to have something you can count on. But try new things, new varieties, and see what comes of it. Yeah, it's such a great thing. We've picked up the big logs and moved them, and the mulcher has shredded all those little trees and any roots it can get a hold of, and the overburden, or the duff it's called. I made 7 or 8 passes with the chisel plow, and it's basically ready to plant. And as I've stated before, there's no rocks in the area at all. This is all old ancient sand dunes, so it's silt and loamy dirt. And there's a surprising amount of organic matter in it as well, which is really nice. And since we've chewed everything up and left it in place, all the goodie is right there. Just what the plants need. When you can go and plant in something, this field is barely 3 weeks old, and the dirt is soft and fluffy, has a great smell, and a wonderful texture. I'm looking forward to growing so many different things in it over the years. just think. What this ground will be like next year. Most of these small roots will be gone altogether. Any of these larger ones will be brittle, broken down. By the time the disc comes through here, chop them up. And by the third year, there won't be hardly any roots at all unless you run across an occasional big one, and it'll be very rotten. So within 900 days, 1200 days, this will look totally different. These burn piles will be gone, the roots will be gone, the ground will warm up quicker in the spring, we can get in earlier. An absolutely amazing thing. So hope you guys stay along for the journey. Okay, I'll give this week's update on the crops and the corn. So behind me we have field corn planted without any plastic on top, like the sweet corn is over there. Some of it's in hills with some irrigation. Some of it is just planted out traditionally. So we'll go around and look at that and show you everything about that. And then there was also, we put in some melons and some other things. That cold, wet spell just did them in. So unfortunately, very few of those made it, if any. And that's part of it, part of farming. So I'll show you the field corn first, and then we'll go over and look at the sweet corn. Okay, the corn planted in the rows. They're doing pretty good. There's different stages of development. And there's a total of 3 different varieties set up into blocks, a third, and a third down these rows. Then if we come over to the corn that was planted without any assistance, just direct sowed into the ground, that's where it's at. Today is the 11th. And this was planted on the 20th of May. So that's basically 21 days from planting to where it's at currently. The soil was extremely dry, and we did have to wait about 4 or 5 days for rain. And then, as everybody in Alaska knows, it was a cool, wet spring. But there are some that are almost as far along as the ones growing in the hills, which is a good thing. And again, there is 4 varieties planted across this particular stretch of test plot. And so far I've seen all 4 varieties coming up. We will see how they do as the year goes on. Okay, update on the sweet corn. It's coming along really good. We'll show you how it's developed. One of the drawbacks to the sticks and unevenness of the rows, the plastic doesn't want to stretch real tight, so unfortunately between the wind lifting it up and the planter planting a seed not quite in the center of the hole, with this method we have to do a little bit of hand opening, otherwise the corn gets bound up underneath the plastic. So we have to do a little bit of that. It takes a little time, but again, next year when there's less sticks, this will go much smoother. So far we're seeing pretty good germination. We'll take you a tour of the plants and show you what they look like. Okay, so depending where the plant is and where the seed got placed, some are better than others. You can see how they could get stuck under the plastic. They're going to need just a little bit of help get out. Some of them aren't too bad. Some of them just are not quite in the middle. As they get stronger, they'll push up a lot. But we're actually starting to, they're getting big enough now you can see them all poking through. Well, it's basically just a broom handle with a knife taped on the sides. What was handy at the house. Plastic's pretty fragile, so it doesn't take much to get it open and get it away for the plant to get through. Okay, cover some of the cover crops and test plots. We have barley. And this is rye. And the next is oats. And we have some field peas. Then we have Sudan grass, which it is germinating. It really didn't get mixed in real good, so some's going to grow. It won't be a real good stand, but that's okay. Then we have sunflowers. And then we have mustard. What you doing, sleepy boy? Did I wake you up? Okay, tractor's all loaded up. Looks like we have some rain coming in. Not gonna be much, but okay, every little bit helps. Dusty dog's ready to go home. You have a rough day at work, Dusty? You have a rough day? Yeah? You ready to go home? Good dog. Well, me and Dusty are headed back to the house. I sure like to thank everybody for watching the video. It's so wonderful to be able to share this with our friends, family, and viewers. Next week's video should be pretty exciting. Me and the crew will be going to Fairbanks to the equipment auction. There will be all kinds of equipment and trucks and containers and connexes and things at this auction. There's even some tractors and some farm equipment. And of course, there will be an update on the corn. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you're having a great day.